If you are struggling to improve your listening skills, then maybe you need to stop testing yourself and start practicing. But the question is, how? And what is the difference between testing yourself and practicing? Well, let's talk. Testing evaluates a language learner's proficiency in a given skill at the time of the test. Practicing, on the other hand, is the process of improving and refining skills through deliberate engagement. So, unlike testing, practicing is not about evaluating your current ability. Instead, it's about trying to improve your current ability. And the thing is, from my experience, students who are preparing for exams and who are trying to improve their listening will, instead of practicing, just test themselves again and again and again. To be honest, I've also noticed that teachers often do this as well. The listening part of the lesson will often just be a comprehension exercise. Students need to listen to a text and then they need to answer questions. And the success of this part of the lesson will be measured by how many answers the student has got right, instead of how engaged they were with the task. So here is the question then that this video is trying to answer. How can you practice listening at home without just repeatedly testing yourself? Well, here is a suggestion. In order to do this, you need three things. You need YouTube, ChatGPT, and a website called DownSub. The first thing you need to do is find a YouTube video about a topic. This can actually be the hardest part, so let me help you with some considerations. When listening, our brains use two processes to try to understand the information they are receiving. These two processes are known as top-down processing and bottom-up processing.
Bottom-up processing relies only on the words that we hear, the sensory information we are receiving. Top-down processing relies on the background knowledge we have about a subject. If you choose a video about a topic that you are already very knowledgeable about, you may be able to depend on your top-down processing to guide you through the video. This will obviously make things easier. If you choose a video on a topic that you know absolutely nothing about, you will be relying more on bottom-up processing, which will make things more difficult linguistically. So, the perfect topic for a video is probably something that you know something about, but not a lot. I've chosen this video here about zoology and pea aphids, because I know a little about zoology, but I know nothing at all about pea aphids.
But I can't wait to learn! Am I right? Pea aphids? Oh God. Now, before you watch the video, you need to download the subtitles of the video into a Word document.
Go to www.downsub.com and then copy and paste your chosen YouTube video's URL into this box. Then click Download. After that, click the box labelled TXT. This will give you a plain text document of the video's subtitles. Now, open the document, highlight all the text, and copy the contents. Next, you need to go to www.chatgpt.com. Paste the subtitles of your video and then write "replace 20 words with," and then put a blank space, signified with whatever symbol you want. I've chosen underscores. And now you have your subtitles, but with 20 words excluded. Let's copy this by clicking on these two boxes, and then paste it into a new Word document. And now we have a gap fill exercise. We will come back to this later. Do not read it now.
Okay, so now we are ready to begin. The first thing we are going to do is listen for gist. Gist is the basic outline of the video. What is the basic point that the speaker is trying to make? What is the purpose of the talk? What is the speaker trying to do? What's the point? So, you need to watch or listen to the video. Do not look at the subtitles for this. You just now need to try and understand the general idea. Then, after you have done this, I would like you to write bullet points of everything you can remember from the video. Only bullet points. Remember, we don't want to go into too much detail here. We just want the general points that the speaker or the speakers are making. So, for my video about PA FIDS, my bullet points looked something like this. Now listen again and check that your bullet points make sense. Now, after you've done that, I would like you to write a short summary of what you have listened to. Now, don't try to write a fantastic composition here. We're not testing our grammar. Instead, just try to string all of the bullet points together into something that adequately summarizes the text that you listened to. So here is the example of what I wrote for the video about PA FIDS. Yeah. Okay, now we are ready to use the subtitles that we prepared earlier. We are now going to listen for detail. That is, we're going to listen for specific pieces of information from the audio. In the case of this exercise, the specific pieces of information are the words that we have removed from the transcript. So, you are going to listen to the video again, following along with the transcript, and trying to write every missing word that you hear. But remember, this is not a test, so you can listen as many times as you want. Listen as many times as you need in order to complete the task. Maybe there are some that you just cannot do, but that's fine. Don't feel bad, because we're going to check our answers later. Now that you've done that as many times as you needed, we're going to check our answers with the original transcript that we downloaded from Downsub. At this point, you will probably feel absolutely sick of this YouTube video, but hey, at least I have learnt everything about PA FIDS, right? But unfortunately, we're not quite done just yet. Go back to the summary that you wrote earlier based on the bullet points. Now that you have read the transcript and completed the listening for detail task, I would like you to make any changes to the summary that you think would better reflect the content of the video. Try not to make this too long. Aim for between 80 and 100 words. Now, finally, go back to ChatGPT.
Copy the subtitles into ChatGPT again and ask it to do the following. Summarize the central points of this video in under 100 words. Then copy and paste ChatGPT's summary into the same document as yours and compare the two.
Now you can ask yourself some really exciting questions. Like, why did ChatGPT choose to focus on this piece of information in their summary while I didn't? Or why did I decide to include this piece of information while ChatGPT didn't? We're doing this to ensure that our summary correctly identifies the gist, correctly reflects the general point that the speakers were making in the video. And you're going to be tired, because practicing is exhausting. It's supposed to be. You gauge the effectiveness of practicing by how engaged you were in the completion of the task, not by how many answers you got correct. The focus is on the process rather than the product. So, that's what practicing could look like, and that's probably what you should be doing. If you have other ways that you practice listening in your free time because you're a great guy or gal, then tell me in the comments. I'm really interested to know. Anyway, that's all for today. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment down below. My name is Toby, and this was Smash English.